viewers, wherever you are, hello and welcome to this new episode of your program, Love Spectrum. Last time, we talked about a very special and peculiar personality, which is the histrionic personality. The personality that loves to be the center of attention, loves to be surrounded by lights, and always, pretends to be an actor and looks for people's applause. It always wants a round of applause, people to applaud it for its great performance. Today, we will talk about another special personality. A personality that is not very far away from the previous one. Today, we will talk about the narcissistic personality. And narcissistic comes from narcissus, the beautiful flower. It's a name of a perfume, something related to mythology, love. It's a very extra romantic and a beautiful name. So what is this personality all about? To delve deeper into the crypts of this personality, I'm really delighted to be accompanied today by our very usual and very special guest at the same time, AUDICE Nasser, the university professor and the clinical hypnotherapist. AUDICE, hello and welcome to the program.
Hi, Muhammad. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, and it's a real pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me again.
We look forward to having you time and again.
I enjoy these sessions.
AUDICE, to start off, what are the outlines of this personality, a narcissistic personality? What are the most important traits? Just the outlines, and then we'll go deeper into the details.
Sure. Well, the word narcissistic comes, like you mentioned, it's a Greek methodology about a guy. His name is Narcissus, I think, where he was walking in a river, and I think he's the son of a river. And he saw his reflection in the river and he fell in love with himself because he thought he was so beautiful, like the flower you mentioned. So the word narcissist comes from, it means beauty, but it is actually a mental disorder when somebody has so much of it. So in a very grand and specific way, it's a personality disorder that's characterized by someone who is over self-assured, over self-loved, over feeling too important, or they are constantly looking for approval from other people. It's like feeling their self-worth is so grand. That's really what a narcissist is in a short way.
So if we say that a histrionic personality always loves to be under the light and on stage, and we say that narcissistic personality always loves to look at itself in the mirror, loves the mirror, always likes to admire how beautiful they are, how smart they are, how great they are they rather like a bombastic, they like to brag and show off a lot?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two. They're both under the same cluster. So there's a lot of people who are kind of between both lines. You could be histrionic, you could be narcissistic, they could be both, because there's a lot of similarities between them. But do you want me to tell you the main difference now, or should we discuss it later?
Let's discuss this at a later point, but here I'm just trying to, take little baby steps to try to find our way towards the narcissistic personality. So narcissistic personality, again, they are so full of themselves, they admire themselves. They think that they are the very best people, and so on.
Their self-worth is so grand. They're too important.
Grand, exactly. So do narcissistic personalities have dual personalities, or are they one and the same at the same time? So would they... can they be hypocrites? Can they be double-faced? Can they sort of throw a bait to, or try to be predators for someone? So if they're throwing a bait or trying to be predators, they might play the role of the nice, sweet, humble guy, and then later on they would show their true colors. Or are they always too obvious?
No, they're not obvious, but you brought up a really good point. They are known to be manipulative. They will manipulate you and they will use you as much as they can, and they will never show you that. So they're very manipulative, and they will take whatever measures to get to where they want to go. So that's the bad thing about narcissists, that they don't feel the guilt or the shame. Extremely manipulative, extremely using other people for themselves. They're very selfish. So, and unfortunately, sometimes later on, people will find out who they are, but a narcissist will never show you their true colors. You will find, people around them will see it, but they never see it. They're never wrong.
And can they go as far as to pretend that they are so romantically in love with you while they're not, while they have zero feelings for you, just to use you as a pawn?
Narcissists cannot love. So they don't love. It's impossible for them to love. They don't love.
But they can pretend, though, right? They can pretend to be lovers, or they can't.
No, I don't believe so. I personally believe they just can manipulate you to get to what they want. Whether you're a lover, a friend, a family member, but love, they only love themselves and only themselves. Histrionic can love, not narcissists.
Okay, so a narcissist can love one person, which is themselves.
Only themselves.
They cannot love someone else. So, okay, to throw a bait, like if I want to manipulate someone, I must always use the carrot and the stick, some kind of a bait. Like, what is their bait? How do they manipulate people? What is it for the other people to be manipulated?
Do you know the term gaslighter? Have you heard of this word, gaslighters? You know what a gaslighter is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's their bait, is meaning, just in case if somebody doesn't know, a gaslighter is someone who would make you feel so bad. They will make you feel so ashamed and so guilty to make you feel sorry for them. So they are known to, I'm trying to find the right word for it, but except for gaslighting, it's the only way. Like most people around them, they're the victims of narcissists, because narcissists, to get to what they want or what they need, they will make everybody else a punching bag. That's how they get what they want. So if they have to pretend to love you, oh yeah, they will. If they have to pretend that they're nice, of course they will. In front of you, they're beautiful people.
Well, would they play the role of the oppressed while they are the oppressors? Like, would they play the role of the humble, weak people have been crushed, like all the world has been against me, and
they're the victims always, and they're the ones that do not need therapy, and everybody else around them need therapy, and they're always abused to them in their mind, and they're always the victims, and they're always the ones that need help, and they're weak, and they always need people because they seek attention like crazy. They want attention. That's like the key thing, attention and approval. They will do anything to get the attention and the approval, whatever it takes.
And are they good actors? Or are they as good as the histrionic?
They are similar to histrionic. They're drama, extreme drama, extremely.
And they would go the extra mile, maybe like to cry and to,
whole Bollywood. Whole Bollywood, Indian movie, Egyptian movie, Syrian movie, all together in one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So they're very melodramatic.
Yes.
With very melodramatic personalities. And so I don't know, if my description is correct or not. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You're the expert here. But would a narcissistic personality, when they think of approaching you or maybe having you as their partner, whether their girlfriend, their wife, whatever, they would think of you as sort of an ornament. Like they would think of you as something like their watch, like their glasses, like it is something to complete their prestige, their outer look.
No, not like that. You are to them a second person to make them feel better. To them, you are a person they use to get them in the spotlight. It's not like there's something that they can own you and put you on a shelf. They're going to use you to try to build up their self-worth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not like hoarders or having a problem with, like histrionic have a problem with abandonment. That's huge. Where like breaking up and they're afraid of losing people. Not narcissists, the narcissists. They don't care about relationships. They can be living alone all their life. Most of the time, usually they end up living alone because nobody can deal with them. But they don't care because to them, it's them and only them. And nobody else matters.
So,
Nobody else.
so you're just a pawn they would use, and like everyone is very expendable to them. We're all expendable to them. So like nobody really matters.
No.
Like you matter as long as you can benefit me. The moment the benefit is over, to the garbage. I don't care about you. I wouldn't look twice. I wouldn't look back at you. I don't care where you went and where you are. So, for instance, like if I'm married to someone, if I'm narcissistic, I would benefit from the image she would give to me. So I would say, like, when people see me married to such a woman, like whether she's extra pretty, she's very highly educated, she comes from a very classy family, whatever, it shows that, oh, well, definitely a great woman like this must be married to an equally great, or even a greater man. So would they think this way? Like, I'm only attracted to the woman that would make me look greater, or just to compliment me.
Greater. No compliment. They don't like a compliment. They have to be the center of attention. So if two narcissists sit together, it's going to be blood.
Oh.
It cannot be the same. They use you to get themselves on the top.
You are like a bridge or a ladder to them. So I would use you as a ladder to get to the roof. And then the moment I get to the roof, I'll throw you away.
Exactly. You got it perfectly. That's the best way to explain it.
Okay. And they would perform thus in every situation? Like, is it only in the romantic side or also in the professional side as well?
No, it's everything. It's everything. It's the personality disorder. Personality disorder means you have this trait in everything, not just one part of your persona. It's your personality. That's it. You're with everybody, lover, relationships, friends, family members, children, parents. It's the same all across, and it's there with you from long time ago.
So I'm the center of the universe, and like, you know, there are many satellites around me, but I should always be the center, and I should always have the upper hand.
Of course, always. You always would win. And by the way, a lot of people, just sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people think women are the narcissists. Actually, most of them are men, which is surprising because a lot of people think women are mostly narcissists. Actually, men are way more narcissists than women. And Muhammad, we all have a little bit of this. Don't get me wrong. We all have, you know, everybody likes to be, you know, center of attention. Everybody likes to be in a relationship, doesn't want to be abandoned. We all have all of these traits and all these personality disorders. I'm talking about somebody who has it for life. And it's very, oh, here comes the cat. I've been waiting for her all day. I'm talking about like, it's extremely bad when you have it too much of it. So if you're afraid of abandonment and you live your life afraid of abandonment, that it's paralyzing your life, that's now a personality disorder.
Oh, like there's a wide spectrum, but if somebody goes to the extreme, then here's a problem. Like if we're somewhere in the beginning of the spectrum, it should be okay. But if we go to the extreme, the very end, then it becomes a disorder. Like,
exactly. And then it has to be long term. I mean, if you go through a period of like it has to be at least 6 months that you've got. Like when you come to my clinic, you say, I'm depressed. I have to know if you are depressed, really depressed, or you're going through a depressive period, because we all get sad. We all go through a little bit depressive period. If it's been like 6 months, I'm like, okay, this has been long enough that I think you are now depressed. But if it's only 2 weeks and you say, yeah, on and off, I'm like, okay, you're not depressed. It's not a disability. It's not a mental issue. You're just going through a period. Because remember, we all have all of these traits. But if you live a long time with it and it's affecting you for a long term, now you need a little bit more of therapy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I totally do understand what you're saying. Yeah. So again, it's not only you know, quality or how deep and profound it is, but again, for how long. So time is a factor. So if it's like an something that lasted for a period, then maybe it's a temporary disorder. But we cannot really, you know, put a stigma on you, put a label on you as a narcissistic personality, unless this persists. It's something that is always there. It's not something that comes and goes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they're always like this in their you know, love affairs, in their professional affairs, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So from what you're saying here, you said that there, like at the beginning, you said that there are a lot of similarities between the narcissistic and the histrionic.
Yeah.
But what is the borderline? What is the most obvious difference between them? There are a lot of overlaps, and you said it might be very hard to identify them. And some people are like histrionic narcissistic, or vice versa. But
Exactly.
What is the clear fine line between them?
Histrionic can love. They can have a relationship. It's going to be hard for them because they're really sensitive. The histrionic people are extremely sensitive. Narcissists will never love. And they don't feel shame. They don't feel guilt. They don't have any emotions. See the difference? Histrionic will love, will have an emotional trauma if the person left them. Narcissists causes emotional trauma to people around them. They cannot love because they're just abusing people. So narcissistic abuses people. Histrionic sometimes gets abused, even though they abuse more, but their deep insecurities are a little bit different than their deep insecurity of narcissists. That's how you know the difference between the two. It's how they love.
So like, you know, they have some kind of a conscience, like the
Histrionic, they do.
They have some kind of a conscience.
They
But
do.
narcissistic, they don't. They don't care at all.
No shame.
Most of them are chronic. Like it has to be chronic. It has to be ongoing. It cannot be like for just a small interval. It has to be for a lifetime. So the narcissistic people, they have no shame and no sense of guilt at all.
Yeah, not at all.
They
They
don't.
don't keep it.
They don't care at all. Okay, would a narcissistic person try to conduct a litmus test with you every now and then, or try to test your patience to see how much can you take? Would they try this game with you if they are looking forward to a permanent relationship? Like, would they try to tame you to be their pet in the future?
They gaslight you. So what they do is they break you. So you become their punching bag. To break your demeanor, they break your personality. They make you feel that you're always guilty. They always make you question your judgments. Narcissists will do whatever it takes to break you, so you believe that they are your God and that they're always right. The narcissist, I would not be surprised what they will do. They will do anything they can to get themselves to feel good, to get themselves to feel important. And unfortunately, people who I treat mostly are the people who've been in a relationship with a narcissist.
Okay.
The victims, these are the real victims. Narcissists never go to therapy. They don't think they need it.
Yeah,
They never go to therapy.
okay.
Never, ever.
So they always try to abuse other people, try to manipulate them, brainwash them, just control. So would I say that, would it be correct if I say that a narcissistic personality always loves to be the puppeteer, and
Yeah.
everyone around them is a puppet, so they should always hold the strings in their fingers. So
And they exploit people. That's what they do. They exploit.
they exploit people.
Yeah.
And they would sort of emotionally drain other people and mentally drain them.
and they intimidate them, they belittle them, they will threaten them, they do unimaginable things I cannot tell you. I mean, they will take whatever measures. I'm not talking about a psychopath here. I'm not talking about murdering. That's a completely different thing. I'm talking about pretty much destroy the person in front of them to a point where there's no return. The person is now in therapy because they've been a punching bag for all of their life. Because they live in a delusion. You have to remember, narcissists really think they are the god of the universe. And they will make their reality based on their delusions. And their reality is all fake. So whatever it takes for them to justify the feeling of self-importance, they will take every measure.
So,
without feeling of guilt or shame.
Would that mean, again, that, you said that they have this zero feeling of guilt, and they live in this illusion. Would it be correct, please correct me scientifically, to say that they have, I don't know, like psychosis, some form of psychosis?
No. Psychosis means they lose part of reality. No, I wouldn't say psychosis, because they live in an illusion. I'm not talking like they know it's reality, but their illusion is like that. Yeah, they're so important that they believe if they go somewhere that everybody's looking at them, even though they could be looking at them looking disgusted, but to them it's like, ah, they love me, they look at me, but they can tell that this is not reality. I'm not talking about psychosis. That's a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's different. But they live in fantasy.
They are sober, like they are awake. They know where they are.
Yeah, it's a fantasy. They just live in a fantasy.
Mm-hmm. A self-made fantasy.
Exactly.
And, how about fidelity? How about fidelity? How honest are they? Like, what is the possibility of them cheating on their partner?
Very possible. Their self-worth. Why, to them, it's like they're important. And if they can find another partner who will satisfy them, they will go for it. Remember, no shame and no guilt. Nothing will make them, like, they don't feel remorse. So yes, they do cheat. Yes, they do everything else if they're not satisfied with the relationship. And usually they're not, because they're turned off the other people around them.
And if I go and cheat on my partner, I would, again, instead of apologizing, I'd make her feel sorry. So, like, I had to cheat because you're depriving me of this. Yeah,
self-blame. They blame you on their misery. They will never see any fault. They never see any mistakes. That's the key thing. They never respond good. They're very sensitive to criticism, by the way, extremely sensitive, because it's like, what do you mean I'm not good? Or what do you mean something is wrong with me? They never take it good. So they will gaslight you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now that we understand like this narcissistic personality, sort of, and you said they cannot love. They are not people who can love other people. They can only love themselves. So, like, where does it come from? Is it like, are they born this way? Or is it an acquired personality? Or like, what factors, affect where in the spectrum would you fall in narcissism? Is it something you're born with again, or is it has to do a lot with your upbringing? And
it's always upbringing, Muhammad. There's nobody born bad. So most of the time, the narcissists are either been neglected as a child or abused. However, there's some psychologists out there, they think it's something to do with the brain. The prefrontal lobe is where it regulates our emotions. Some believe it may be something to do with that part of the brain, that they cannot control their emotions. But I don't think it's 100% accurate, because now we're talking psychopath. A psychopath is having the same issue where they don't understand the difference between someone dying in front of them or someone laughing. They cannot tell if they're causing pain. So I don't know how accurate this theory is, but I do know for sure they have either been neglected as a child. That's why they need that importance and self-worth. They may have been abused, or they may have been pampered too much by their parents. It's like a completely unrealistic expectation by parents sometimes causes this narcissist. But most of what I know, I've only treated 2 or 3 people. It's trauma, childhood trauma, like neglect.
Okay. So, can be neglect from parents, or maybe in school, in university?
Parents usually. No, it starts way before. Your personality disorder starts before the age of 7.
Okay.
So most of the time it's the parents.
So parents, like they over pampered the child, or they completely neglected and ignored the child.
Yeah.
So it has one of these 2 extremes.
Yeah. Or abuse too.
Abuse. Okay. And so they have this sort of vindictive person, like, desire inside them. So I never got what I really deserve. So it's time for me now to get what I deserve. Or I was always treated as a king, and this is what I am. So I was treated as a king at home. I should always be a king. So it's either or.
And I forgot one thing too to tell you. With narcissists, they're known to hold long grudges. So if you piss them off, 20 years later, they will still do whatever it takes to come back to you. It's like the envy is still in them. They're always envious of other people because they don't like competition. If somebody is better than them, they're envious, and they really hold long grudges. They're very, very, very bad when it comes to grudges. So you don't want to cross them. It's better to avoid them.
But again, I think but if you're submissive, they will still not like you. They would use you, but you're just like, a napkin. I'm sorry for the expression. I would just blow my nose in the napkin and throw it away.
There is one way, if you want to know how to, but you have to be ready for this. The only way you can overcome a narcissist relationship, I don't know if I should talk about this because you have to know how to do it. Take control from them. Take away their control. That will drive them nuts. Make them unable to control you or control the person that they're holding. They will break. They have to be controlling. Remember, they manipulate others. So the moment you stand up, you take away their control, they're done. They will go on to the next person. But it takes courage from the person who is the abused, right? To stand up on their feet and to fight back. That's the only way you can break a narcissist. Take away their control.
So, so you're referring here that we should be assertive with a narcissist person. Should we be assertive or aggressive with them?
Well, it depends if you want to keep the relationship or not. So there's no cure to narcissism. There's no pills, there's nothing. There's no cure, only therapy. But therapy works on building their self-esteem again from the beginning. We crush them. We have to completely break them down and rebuild it again. Because remember, there is abuse and there's neglect way deep inside in their personality. So unless you're trained, to be quite honest, Muhammad, there's a lot of therapists who don't want to work with narcissists. They refuse to treat narcissists. It's the most mental disorder that everybody hates to treat. Even psychiatrists don't like to work with narcissists. It's the most hated personality to treat because it's well known that they're the worst people to come to your office because they try to manipulate the therapist. I personally don't mind them because nothing affects me anymore. I'm like a stone, right? So, but I got to the point a couple of times when they said bad things to me and I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad, but I didn't care. But I can see like a therapist taking it personally because they use them as a punching bag. They will gaslight the therapist. They try to catch things on the therapist. They try to break them. So the therapist ends up in therapy most of the time. So narcissist is not an easy thing. If you ever get into a relationship with a narcissist, you will know. You will know because you will be the one being abused. But never think that you can fix a narcissist. It has to be a professional that knows how to do it. My only advice, get out. Get out because it's going to break you. It's really, really, really the worst kind of mental disorders out there, narcissist.
So whenever you are around a narcissist, you just need to run for your life.
Run for your life. Avoid them. Just avoid them because once they, like a leash, once they hold on to you, Yani, they will do whatever it takes. They will manipulate you. They will exploit you. They will do whatever it takes to get to what they want without you even knowing. They're so good at it. You don't even know that they're doing this. They're professionals. They're really professionals. They know how to manipulate people. They really, really know.
Do they prefer, like, you know, if we think as like of them as predators or hunters, usually predators and hunters prefer, you know, like they find a lot of pride in chasing hard prey. So, like, you know, like chasing a rabbit is very easy. It's a very, you know, like peaceful animal. But chasing, like, you know, a bull, for example,
Mm-hmm.
is like, it's a bigger prize, but it's very hard. It takes a lot of skill and talent. Does a narcissistic person think this way? Like they would like a bigger challenge? Like, and the more challenging the personality is, the more they would, like, you know, really hold tight to it?
Whatever it makes them feel more important. So if I am a narcissist, if I'm running after the rabbit, that's not a big thing because that's not going to make me feel my worth much better. But if I was able to hunt a gorilla or a lion, yeah, it's going to be harder, but my self-worth will feel better. Because remember, it's about their self-worth, but makes them feel better. So of course, they probably will go after the harder one, but not to show off to other people. They don't care about other people. It's them. It's like, yeah, I did it. They will show off a little bit later. To them, self-worth. How they look in that river, narcissists looking in the river, how beautiful I am. Look at me, I'm so beautiful, look at me. I'm trying to think of a movie or something that has narcissist in it. The only movie that comes to mind is Psycho, American Psycho, kind of, but not without the blood, without the killing. Pretty much, that's how severe they are.
What, like, there's a very classic, like, Snow White. Can we say that, you know, the queen is...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, Cinderella's mom. I'm trying to think of Cinderella's mom was using her and stuff. She kind of has a narcissist personality. You know what? The queen from
Snow White, the queen in Snow White, like, she always looks in the mirror, you know, and she always asks the mirror who's the fairest in the land.
yeah, but think of because you know I don't too old for cartoons, but Game of Thrones.
Yes.
The queen, not, oh God, I forgot her name. You know what I mean? The main queen. That's
yeah. Iron Throne. Yeah, yeah.
She's a narcissist. You see how she did everything. She even, you know, she destroyed the whole city just to make her feel better. She killed her brothers, her siblings. She didn't care about anybody in the family because she wanted to be the queen. That's a narcissist. That's exactly what a narcissist looks like. Charming, double-faced. What was her name? Anyways.
Cersei. Her name was Cersei.
Ah, yes. I gotta watch it again. I just watched it last month.
Yeah. Like she doesn't care. Like even when her son died, okay, said a little bit, but she carried on. You know, nothing can make her stop.
Yep.
Like, you know, like she only cares for Cersei. Like, this is, you know, I'm my own love. You know, like I'm deeply in love with me. That's the, you know, the bottom line.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a narcissist.
Wow. So yeah, that's a personality to watch out and for. And again, actually, while you're talking, it rings a lot of bells, you know, for me, and I think for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Like, are there a lot of them out there, or like, am I just imagining?
No, there are a lot, but most people think they're women. That narcissists is actually mostly men. Men are known to be more, and they're very high successful men. They're doing amazing in their careers. They're CEOs. They're up there in their jobs, but they don't have a lot of friends. Friends leave them after a while. Once the friend sees that they're being used, they kind of wake themselves up a little bit and they leave them. So they're always going through a changing of cycle of friends. Because in the beginning, friends like them. They show up the good front, but once friends start to pick up on it, they leave. So they have unstable relationships. They have unstable, they go through a lot of breakups. And the only time I'm trying to think like their bubble burst is when reality hits them sometimes. So let's say I am in my 20s, just to give you an example. I'm a female in my 20s and I'm on TikTok and I'm selling all my beauty products and I'm successful and I have billions of followers and my ego is like blown up. I go into my 30s, I go into my 40s, and then I'm not as popular anymore because I'm older and there are younger girls who are competing with me. When I hit 50s and 60s, reality is going to hit me that, oh my God, it wasn't all about me. It was like age has put me out of the game. Reality will hit then when my bubble burst, but I still will not go to therapy. I will have a miserable life. I will not accept it. It's impossible for me to accept there's something wrong with me. Narcissists never see that they have an issue. That's the problem with them. They never go to therapy.
So,
they never go. Sorry.
But never least, actually, I'm sorry to cut you off, but just popped into my mind here. And the possibility of them having a depression or the possibility of them committing suicide. What is the likelihood of that? Is that very possible, like not possible?
You know, it is possible, but not like histrionic. Histrionic is a lot more. Because histrionic are a little bit more sensitive. Remember, they go through a major depression and suicidal thoughts when somebody abandons them. Borderline, the biggest personality disorder that ends up in suicide is borderline, and then histrionic. Narcissists, pretty much people around them end up killing themselves, but not the narcissist.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it.
And there are no pros for this personality. Right?
And unfortunately, there's no cure. Seriously, there's no cure except for talk therapy. It has to be talk therapy. Even hypnotherapy may not work. Like hypnotherapy is by itself is not good. I have to do a lot of talking because I'm trying to open them up to realize that they are wrong. I cannot tell them they are wrong. They have to figure it out on themselves. But for them to accept that there is something wrong with them, no. So I have to go the other way by trying to point out or help them find their trauma and their abuse and their neglect and try to build their self-esteem a little bit. So it takes maybe a year or two for them to really kind of wake up. They're like, what the hell was wrong with me? How could I do this to people? The guilt starts to fill in.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because deep inside, remember, Muhammad, nobody's born bad. That's my motto. Nobody is born bad. You may hate the person's personality, you may hate the person's behavior, but never hate the person because you don't know what they went through. Keep this in mind. No matter how bad the person is to you, you don't know what they went through. So never judge, never label, never tell someone you're an idiot, you're, narcissist. Never tell them this because you don't know if this person was abused or raped as a child or the parents locked them in the basement for 10 years of their lives. You don't know what kind of trauma this person has. If you ever feel that the person is struggling or having personality disorders, talk to them and let them go themselves and seek therapy. Convince them to go, but don't say you are narcissist or you are bad. Just say, I feel worried about you. I feel you're not happy. Do you want to talk? You know what I mean? You have to be there for them. For them to trust you enough to start to open up, and then maybe later on they will go on their own to therapy. Never say you, always say I. I'm worried about you.
Okay.
I know how you feel.
So don't point a finger, like so that you feel for them. There's some kind of sympathy or like some kind of mutual feeling there, but you're not pointing fingers. Like you're not blaming them. You're not stigmatizing them.
Exactly. Never say you. Just keep this in mind. Never say you are. Just say I am worried. I am concerned. I want you to be happy. Say I.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Elise, really, thank you very much for this interview. As usual, it's great to have you, and really looking forward to having you, in our future episodes as well with more personalities. Because personality is just like the name of the program. They're spectra of personalities. It just never ends. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
The headline, I can just imagine the headline of this video on your YouTube channel or your Facebook. Tag your narcissistic friends. just put it out there. Thank you, Muhammad. I really look forward to this. So hopefully next part, maybe we can talk about the next type of personality. There is like the different cluster. These are really interesting. I think people would like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And dear viewers, just to sum up, and I'll start from what AUDICE said at the very end. Okay, maybe we might think that this narcissistic or histrionic personalities are like dangerous or like evil people, but nobody's born evil. So every predator was a prey at some time. Every aggressor was a victim at some point in their life. So, okay, we should try to avoid them. Okay, not to be friends with them very much, not to have these intimate bonds with them, but at the same time, we shouldn't treat them with disdain and try to marginalize them completely. So we should, try just to protect ourselves, but the antidote, again, just like AUDICE said, is to be assertive. So stand for your rights. Don't fight them, but just have a brick wall, a very, very, solid brick wall, and stand for your rights. Draw the line. So say, no, you cannot go further than that. That is the end here. And again, if this person is dear to you, there is a way out. It's not a very, the road is not paved with roses. It's a very bumpy road, and it's very rugged. But again, there is a way. There is a possibility. But don't point fingers. Don't put a stigma on them. But just like she said, try to tell them, I feel sorry for you. I want you to have help, because, we as humans, you and I and everyone else, we're social animals. We're not made to just live alone. And this is the whole beauty of it all. Like the name of this program and the page and everything, it's Spectrum, Canadian Spectrum, or like Love Spectra, so it's the variety is the beauty. You cannot live in monotonous life, just hear one tone all the time, or a monochromatic life, life that has only one color. It would be so boring, so dull, and would eventually depress you. So if you know that person, try to talk to them, try to bring them to therapy, try to, and if you hate, always remember that. Hate the behavior, don't hate the person, okay? They're evil behaviors, but no one is born evil. There must be a reason for that. So, there's always a room for rehabilitation for them, psychological rehabilitation. They can, they need to be restored, renovated, if you wish. At the very end, thank you very much for being with us tonight, and until we meet again, have a very pleasant time. Thank you very much.